welcome to my YouTube channel, Juliet Meal Crafts. So today I am doing a collaboration with the lovely Angela, Angie B Cards and Crafts. She's fairly new here on YouTube. She started this year, I think. And yeah, but she has been a friend of mine for a long time, and I'm so glad that she is doing stuff with her craft now. So she and I have decided to do a collaboration together. I'm sure we will do many more. I'm just going to tell you about it as I get started, so that we're going to be sort of doing two-in-one things. So Angela loves her steampunk and her MDF and all of that sort of stuff. So she has sent me these lovely hexagon pieces here. And she's also given me a brief that we're both following. So we both have to, we're to create hexagon piece here. I'm just cutting it out because I want that as a feature element. Okay, so yeah, she sent me these hexagons. I was originally going to go for the big one, but I might still. But now I'm wondering whether to do a smaller one. I might go for the smaller one. Anyway, sorry. So what we are to do is we're to use our steampunk stencils. Then she kind of pretty much cut off my right arm by saying that we weren't allowed to use a stamp. Come on. Yes, that was a bit frightening when she mentioned that one. And we are to use pastel colours, which neither of us really do, to be honest. So that's going to be tricky for both of us. I'm just looking at this paper trying to decide what to do. And I'm also trying to decide whether to go for a big one or not. Yeah, I was originally going to do a big one, so let's go for that. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. Right, so basically we're to use my steampunk stencils. We are to use pastel colours. We are to use gesso. Both of us absolutely adore our Pretty Gets Gritty Crackle Gel and Texture Paste. So for some bizarre reason Angela banned that. Yeah, I know. So instead what we're going to do is, quite often we talk about the fact that if you've got a good gesso, you don't actually need all these fancy texture pastes. They're great if you have them. But you can actually just stir stuff into your gesso to make it more textured. So that is what we're going to attempt to do today. We're going to show you doing things with your gesso that makes it a bit more textured. Yeah, so we're going to do that. So I will be getting it out. I have run up and down the loft I don't know how many times to try and find my glitter and to find some soda crystals or whatever, and so far I've not found any. So to be honest, I'm just getting started in the hopes that at some point I will find something to stir into my said gesso. I'm sure I'll be able to find something. Right, so I'm just popping some gel medium on this. And I'm just going to stick it down and see what occurs. This is why I took my dragonfly out first, because I kind of knew I wanted that, although I am going to have to make it somewhat steampunky. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to stick some gel medium onto that. And also this Stamperia paper pad I have had for ages, and it's one of those ones. It's a bit pricier. Do you know, it was like £10 for not many sheets. And so you end up hoarding it a little bit. And I also don't have an awful lot that is in the pastel range. I was looking through all my papers, so we were allowed one sheet of paper. Yeah, one sheet of paper. And seeing as I don't have stamps, that's kind of what I was going to have to work with. So I'll probably end up ripping and tearing what is left. I'm sort of giving myself a base so I'm covered, and then I will rip and tear what is left to create something or other. Now Angela and I have completely different styles. I know Dawn and I do a Dawn and Julia Create, but I think even and it always turns out different, but I think this is going to turn out even more different. Ooh, that kind of almost looks like an octagon in a... Come maybe I just have a little one. Have a little one. Right, but I do want my dragonfly to sort of stand out from that. And I've also got to somehow make this look a bit steampunky. Okay, right. I'm not going to bother with the foreground just now. Let me see. Do I have some... Oh, I probably do, but where it is located is another matter. I want some sort of sanding equipment. I didn't find my sandpaper equipment, but I sent my husband down to the shed to find his. So we're all good. Right, so I'm just going to sand the edges. This is just going to neaten up my dodgy cut work, and also we're just going to get a nice distressed edge to that. And then I think what I'm going to do is get my large cog stencil, and we will put that through. I need to find something to mix into the gesso. So I'm hoping that you'll go over and check Angie's channel. As I said, she's been a friend for mine for years. It's funny that we did a training together and I showed her my art journal at the time, and she said to me, oh, you should really do stamps, you should bring out your own range of stamps. And I never did. I just kind of, you know, was stuck in a rut, stuck into where I was, never sort of, yeah. Kind of thought, yeah, that'd be a nice dream, but you know, these things don't happen in real life. And yeah, 7 years later, I finally actually did it. So I have a lot to be grateful for. So I'm pulling some of that off, which is cool, because that's kind of adding to that nice distressed look. Okay, let's take it. I have got somewhere a box of soda crystals and a massive box of horrible chunky glitter that quite frankly just needs got rid of. And can I find it? Nope. Right, so I am going to use my 13 Arch gesso because it's already quite, look at that, it sits on your knife like that, it's already quite chunky, so that already works really well as a texture paste. So I'm going to pop that in, and then what I have found is this, which I think was from Craftbox UK, so it's not something I'm liable to use. So this has got some glitter and some sequins, so I'm going to put some of that. Now don't forget, if you're mixing this into your gesso, the shininess isn't going to come through because the gesso is going to nullify this. But what Angela and I are trying to do is, you know, we do say it a lot, and I know you'll have heard me say that, you know, when you're starting out, all you need is a gel medium, a good gesso, and if you can, sort of pigment powders, because from that you can build anything. You know, you can go down to the pound shop and get tubs of cheap glitter and stir it into your gesso and do this. It makes a really interesting texture paste. So yeah, as I said, you can very quickly and easily build up texture. So it's something that I talk about an awful lot, but it's not something that I've ever really demonstrated. So it's nice to be given the opportunity to sort of demonstrate it. So now I've got sequins and glitter in there, so we're going to have a really interesting, as I said, both Angela and I like the marble paste from Pretty Gets Gritty, so I think this is going to give us an effect similar to that. So I'm just going to get that all over, and then I think this is going to, I'm going to steampunk it up a little bit. Because so far it's just very pretty. I don't really normally do pretty. Neither does Angela. So I'm actually really intrigued to see. I've not mixed up enough stuff. I'm really intrigued to see what Angela has done actually, because yeah, she doesn't tend to do pastel at all. So I actually can't even imagine what direction she might even possibly take it in. Normally I've got a fairly good idea of what she might do. But no, this one has me perplexed. I'm going to have to be asking Dawn where she gets her 13 Arch gesso from, because I think I'm going to go through most of it tonight. Okay. Actually, it's funny, I'm going to be doing this. So this one's going up at 12 o'clock, this one with Angela. And then at 6 o'clock, the Dawn and Julia Create's going up. So it's going to be a busy old day. Now I have sort of moved this a little bit, which is not ideal, but you know, I'm not looking for perfection, so we'll live. We'll work with whatever's under there. Okay, so let's get that. You can actually hear the crunch of it. That's one of my favourite things about the marble paste when it gets gritty, is you hear this sort of crunchy texture. It's just amazing. And you're almost getting that effect here. So let's pull it off. Yeah, it's a bit, it's not perfect because I've moved it quite a bit, but that's alright, we'll live with it. By the time I have paints and colour over it, it's not going to be perfect anyway. And it's not the main feature. I'm hoping the main feature is going to be my dragonfly. And I'm going to have to mix up some more. I'm going to have to mix up some more, so I think I'll be leaving this to dry now and coming back to it. But we can work on the smaller hexagon piece. I'm just trying to see if I can get enough with what's on my palette knife and what's already on the stencil. So I don't have to mix up some more for just now, because it's just, I don't mind mixing up more, but it's just that if I do, I'm going to move the stencil even further than I already have. And as I said, we're sort of just trying to give a suggestion of stuff. Right, I think I'm going to give in. I'm going to give in and do some more. Mix some more up. There we go. So as I said, hopefully it just shows that just use what you've got in your stash. I think that's kind of what we're about. Quite often we can get sidetracked by all the new products, and they are lovely, and I'm not going to turn my nose up at them because I go and buy them too, so I'm not going to tell you not to, but sometimes we can make it work with what we have. Okay, so I've got that. I'm now just going to, with the extras that we've got floating about, just sort of add it here and there as texture. As I said, this gesso is very textured anyway, so that is one of the advantages of treating yourself to a heavy bodied gesso, is that you can actually do this. You can sort of get away with using it as a texture paste as well. So I'm just using up all the bits that I've got, and yeah, to create some texture, and that'll all sort of become more apparent when we colour it, even though we're going for pale colours. So actually some of the sequins are coming through, but because they were that nice brown colour, I think they're going to work well with the, actually going to work well with steampunk look anyway. So I'm quite pleased. I'm just literally cleaning my palette knife off on the side, because why not? There we go. Right, so let's pop that to the side. So I'm going to decorate this smaller hexagon now. So again, I'm going to get my gel medium now. With this bit, obviously I've used the main paper, putting the main part together. So I'm just going to use the scraps we have left and see what occurs. So let's just add some torn extra elements to it too. So I'm just going to pop all of this on and we'll see what we get. And this is the thing, you don't have to, it's good just to make what you have work, and it shows that you don't need to throw your scraps away as well, because especially when you're doing mixed media projects like this and there's lots of layers going on, sometimes it actually works really well to have stuff patched up. There we go. So that's us got all of that sorted, and then let's do the same. We'll cut round it. I'll probably use a different stencil on this one, and I'm thinking on this one I might actually just use the gesso as well. I might not add the sequined element, so that we've got a bit of contrast between the main feature and the secondary feature. Now I don't know, I can't remember if we were allowed charms and extra bits and bobs to add cogs and things to it. I might just send Angela a wee message and find out. Okay, so we've got that. I don't think we were actually. That's going to bother me because it's cut. I don't like that. I want it torn, so I'm just going to go in and tear that, because yeah, that was just too straight. Right, let's get the sandpaper on this. That's curled up a bit, but I actually don't mind. So I'm just going to add to it. What I will do is maybe just, when I get the chance, wipe that out a little bit. There we go. So we've distressed that. Now let me see what other stencils do I have. I have that one, but I'm not sure whether that's going to show. I've also got the light bulbs. We've got the light bulbs, or we've got the cogs and rivets. That one. Yeah, I might actually do that one. Right, let me just, as I said, I'm just going to use just the gesso with this one, and I don't think I'm going to do the whole thing. So let me see here, make sure that I'm going to get a sort of fan thing. Side, and then I'll just maybe mirror that there. I don't want to cover the whole thing. Okay, cool. I'm going to add the spare, that's a funny noise, add the spare gesso back into there, and then just catch those edges again, and then I might just do what I did before. Let's just clean the palette knife off around the edge. That's going to give us some nice, interesting texture. I'll do some there, that's where the paper's got ripped. Okay, so now I'm going to have to leave all of that to dry, which I will do, and come back to you when we're at the next stage. Okay, so this has all dried off now. We have actually ended up with a little bit of sparkle. I've double checked with Angela, and no, we're not allowed cogs, so this is probably going to be the most steampunky project. I just can't decide now whether I actually want this hexagon on it or not. I am in two minds. I just don't know. Yes. Right, so what I will do is let's get a bit of colouring on this, and I'm just going to use my gouache paints. So I think we were allowed to use any mediums as long as it was pastel. Or was it acrylics? I can't remember. I genuinely can't remember now. I think it was just the pastel was the main thing. Right, so I am going to use this taupey colour to try and get, just to try and at least see this cog shape a bit better. So it feels a bit more steampunky. So I'm just going to try and, as I said, get some of this coloured down, and this is a kind of sort of very neutral colour, but when we think of steampunk we quite often think you know, patina, which is like brown and teal. So I'm hoping that this will sort of give that effect. I should have written it down. Angela was very good. She had a book with her and wrote it down. I thought I would remember. But clearly that's not gone overly well, has it? Next time I will have to take notes. Right, so I'm just going to pop this colour down. As I said, what I'm trying to do is just highlight the edges of this so that we can actually see that there's some cogs going on there. And we'll see how we go. We shall see what occurs. Right, let's get some on the edges as well. Knock back that pink. Pink really isn't my colour of choice. When I was 7 years old, I had my bedroom decorated, and I had it decorated pink, 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 in your face, princess, hideous pink. Oh, my mum and dad went to town. They spent a fortune, or a lot of money for for them back in the day, and you know, it was proper wallpaper, and it was embroidery onglet curtains and pink embroidery onglet bedspread. It was, oh, it was so twee. But I was in that bedroom because Mum and Dad couldn't afford to change. They never changed their decorating that often, you know. I mean, if they've changed it within 10 years, they would consider that highly decadent. So yeah, I was still in that bedroom till I was 18. And when I was 18, I paid myself out of my own money to change it, because it was like, oh. So I do have a little bit of an aversion to baby pink. So it's like, yep, we're getting rid of that as soon as we can. Right, so I'm just trying to, as I said, emphasise these cogs so that we're looking a little bit more steampunky, but I'm also wanting it to look quite natural. I'm going to try and bring in this blue as well. That's going to be a bit dark, so we'll mix it with some white. So I think this is a steel blue. Oops, clean my brush a bit better before dipping it into the white, but hey ho. That's what happens to an artist palette. It all just creates new exciting things you weren't expecting. There's no such things as mistakes, only sparkly surprises. I'm creating a sparkly surprise right now. There we go. I'm hoping that Angela didn't say acrylics. Something's in the back of my mind now, thinking it should be acrylics. But I seem to, I also seem, I don't know, I should have paid more attention. If I'm getting this really wrong, Angela, I'm very sorry. I still already feel like I've had my right arm cut off though. It's like, no stamps, no cogs. So we shall see what occurs. This today has definitely been a day of being completely oil and truly out of my comfort zone. You stay tuned. At 6 o'clock there'll be a video that the Dawn and Julia create, and Dawn had me right outside my comfort zone. Angela's got me outside my comfort zone. So yeah, we are doing something, that's for sure. Right, so I'm trying to stick to the sort of browns and as I said, this slate grey. I'm sort of thinking patina with that, but obviously I can't go true patina because that would be too dark, and we're supposed to be sticking to pastel tones. But hopefully we're creating something that looks remotely like something. Now, this is got a lot of water on it, so I'm going to have to let that dry, and then once it's dry I'll most likely need to emphasise. I'm going to try and do it again while it's wet, but it will run a little bit. But I'm going to have, again, try and get some heavier colour around the edge of that stencil so that the cog actually stands out, so we can actually see the cog. Because that cog right now is the only thing that is remotely steampunky. Which, yeah. But yeah, I've really soaked it with water here. I do tend to play quite heavy-handed with water when I'm using it for some reason. I don't tend to be able to know how to go canny with it. It seems to be out of my ability. Right, so we've done that one. I can't even remember if we're allowed a sentiment or anything. Okay. So we've got that, which, and then we have this. So yeah, I may do something. Well, let's see, what have we got here? We've got, actually in this I've got some gold and silver gouache Just see if we can, maybe I'll just flick it. We could possibly dry brush some later, but I'm just wondering if that's going to add to the look a little bit. Don't let that splatters on the actual cog, but I like it when it's gone in the water. Okay, right, let's leave that to dry. I'm going to try just dry brushing this one with gesso. It'd be good if it looks a little bit different to the main part. So we will try that. Okay. I think there's not enough contrast between this piece here and the dragonfly, so the dragonfly is not standing out, which is making me feel unsure about using it. But I think because we don't have much to embellish, that using a second piece as a topper is probably quite a good idea. So I'm just going to go quite heavy-handed, I think, with the gesso. Knock back that colour quite a bit. And then that's going to stand out a bit more. Yeah, that might be okay. I do feel like I want to edge it with something. I just wish I can remember. I'll probably get my black pen out or something like that. Right, let's let this dry and then we'll probably just stick that like so, maybe edge it with the black pen, and then I'm going to pop my dragonfly, so it'll be something like that. Yeah. Okie dokie, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so that's my thing dried off. I don't think there's much more I can do to this because I don't think we've got much more in the brief, so it's going to be a much more simple project than I'm used to. So yeah, but we'll see how it goes. Sorry, I should have closed the living room door. I'm not sure if you can hear that. Alistair and Kezia are watching Lady and the Tramp in the other room. So I'm just going to edge this in black just to give it a little bit of definition because I feel it needs something. And we'll do the same for the centrepiece. Now I think I kind of want it off to one side so it's not overly samey. So let's just do that. And we'll stick that down with some gel medium. Oops. Right. I've got a horrible feeling that I was supposed to have been using acrylics. But, yeah, that's kind of not happened. I'm just moving this around now to try and get this so that I get the cog effect in the best place that I like it. No, I think we want the decisions. Yeah. I think that, is that? Yeah. I think we'll go with that. Okay, so I'm just going to, if I was supposed to use gel medium and not watercolour, Angela, I am sorry. I'm very sorry. From what I can remember, it was sort of any colouring mediums, we just had to stick to pastel, but I've also got a nagging feeling that I picked that up wrong. Right, so I've put some gel medium down. I'm just going to pop that in the bottom corner there. So we've kind of got a nod to steampunk rather than anything else. I think I'm going to grab my gouache in again because I just think this sort of needs, I like the contrast, but it needs toned into the project a little bit. So I'm just going to see, I'm not quite sure if I can dry brush with gouache. Well, that's not going to dry. Alright, I'm going to have to activate it with water and then get a drier brush. And I'm just wondering whether sort of creating little Yeah, a little straight. I just feel it needs tied in with the main project a bit more. Yeah, I think that's it. It just needed something so that it looked like it belonged. Right. I'm just going to add a bit of sparkle to the wings, just to make this a bit more interesting. And then I will shape those and then stick that on, and that will be us. This project feels so bare. I feel like it should have some extra embellishment. I haven't realised how heavily I embellish things. I feel like it needs extra embellishment. I feel like it needs a sentiment. So I feel really at 6s and 7s. It's so funny. Right, let me cap into this, and then after I've done this, I've got loads of ideas for filming to do, but honestly I am working in absolute mayhem right now, so I think the next thing I need to do is do some tidying. I'm just going to curl that so we've got a little bit of shape. Okay. And have that like so. I might just shorten my dragonfly. Normally I would kind of, I'm just not sure how it's going to sit. I mean, I kind of want it there, but it can, oh, maybe it'll be alright. And just have that sort of coming over like so. Let's grab a bit more gel medium. Pop it on the body of the dragonfly just there. Okay, so we've got that there. And I can't see where I placed my Jane Davenport black pens, so I'm having to rely on ones that are not quite as reliable. Right, I'm just maybe gonna try and give it a bit of a border just to draw the eye in a little bit. So there's so little going on in this piece that I kind of feel that I'm needing something. So I'm just gonna do this, and then maybe do the same on the mini hexagon as well. Actually, this is writing over all of that. Goodness, okay. Quite glad I actually went for that sparkle in the gesso, because it's coming through really well. I'm not one that really likes glitter overly much, but there's just the odd bit peeking through, and it does give it a bit of interest I wouldn't have normally had. Right. So let's just keep doing that. I think that's just going to add a little bit of detail. And then maybe some splashes as well. Maybe go for some black splashes, just so we've got that. Oh, mind you, black isn't pastel, is it? Yeah, we'll just stick with white then, shall we? I've got my gloss, actually, oh, I've got my gloss spray. I genuinely can't remember what we were supposed to be using. Done a great job with this. Angela and I will have to do it again, and I'll actually have to write down what I was supposed to be using. We had a phone chat, that was the difference. Quite often Dawn and I sort of message each other with it, so I've got something to refer to when I completely forget. This of just, yeah. Right, so we'll do that. I'm just going to clear my desk so that you can see that more properly. Okay, so that is that all complete. It's, yeah, very simple for me. It feels so alien. But anyway, that's that done. Please do head on over and check our Angie's YouTube. She is amazing. She's one of the best people out there for explaining a process well and clearly. I just tend to waffle through things, but if you want things really well explained as to what a product is, why it does what it does, honestly, she's one of the best out there for explaining that stuff. So please do go over and check out her channel and subscribe, and I'm sure you will learn loads over there. So thank you once again for joining me. If you have enjoyed it here, please do consider liking and subscribing, and I'll be back with you very soon. Okay, take care then, and goodbye.